The Spanish islands of Mallorca and Ibiza are the hottest tickets in the Med for Up For Anything Brits looking to make the most of their fun in the sun. But for some, their happy holidays turn into horror shows when disaster strikes. Over at the Clínica Rosario Hospital in Ibiza, Richard, the paralysed pool diver, has just completed his first CAT scan to assess the damage caused to his crunched vertebrae.
So take it, you don't want to go on a boat trip tomorrow, then?
Don't make me laugh either.
Sorry.
God, I just want to be comfortable.
Your sunbed was comfortable, Steve, until you started letting it go.
I know.
As Richard's pain levels hit new highs, Dr. Sabater returns with an update on his condition and the treatment needed until his next scan.
We are going to put you a special collar, and you mustn't move. It's very important, you mustn't move your neck and your body, right?
Okay.
Okay then.
A second scan is required because the swelling and bruising around Richard's spine made the image a bit foggy. Another scan will be taken once the bruising reduces. Wife Hazel is desperate to get her husband home, but the doctor breaks the news that he won't be going anywhere in a hurry.
We're due to fly on Saturday.
This Saturday?
Yeah.
No. That's depend of him, do you know, because he's not serious, but he has a damage in the vertebra.
Right.
He is very lucky. A biggest bang, and he can die. Because to this level, is the fourth vertebra is incompatible with the life. Then he's very lucky.
Learning how close Richard was to death has come as a major shock.
Yeah, okay.
Here. I need to get back to Airport. Try and get around my head what's going to happen and stuff.
Sure.
We'll see.
With an anxious family waiting back at the hotel, Hazel leaves to give them an update, leaving Richard to face up to his injury alone.
The bit that shocked me the most was when he said that it could have killed me. That's, I think we both realise then how lucky I have been.
Whilst Richard is given a moment to reflect on how he has a second chance at life, over at the Juaneda Clinic in Mallorca, another patient has also narrowly cheated death. Following 3 heart attacks, Paul is in intensive care, waiting to see if he needs a life-saving operation.
Right, Paul, good morning.
And his wait is over with the arrival of Viv. Viv tells Paul he needs some high-tech surgery. The heart attack was caused by blocked arteries that need to be cleared.
They will put the catheter into the coronary arteries of the heart, and if they can see a blockage, then they will open that and put a stent in, okay? If they're able to. If there are too many lesions, then they're not able to actually sort it out with a stent, then you would have to go on to the next step of bypass surgery. But at the moment, we think this is not going to happen. We think it's going to be okay.
Paul is reassured by Viv's battle plan, and his wife and sister are relieved.
We're happy people, ain't we?
We're going to get drunk tonight.
Yeah, we're going to get drunk. Yeah.
We'll see what happens on Saturday.
Yeah.
As the Proudfoots turn to the bottle to help deal with Paul's impending surgery, up at Murrow Hospital in the north of the island, Geordie giant Neil Edney is soaking up the painkillers to numb the agony in his twisted knee following a fall. As he waits for the X-ray results, wife Leanne tackles Helen about getting Neil home.
We go home at 7:30 in the morning.
I don't think so. If he can't bend his knee, how are you going to fly?
We've got 4 children back at the hotel, and we just really want to go home, please.
It is something which is physical, not possible.
She breaks the bad news to Neil.
Because I says we go home 7:30 in the morning. We just go back to the hotel, yeah?
Yeah, I can't go home and get a pint.
No, you're not going over and getting a pint.
First of all, they're going to put a splint on.
Right.
Which will be from up here all the way down, so you keep your legs straight. In the plane, there won't be place for that.
As Helen hammers it home that Neil won't be flying home, Leanne crumbles, worrying about her kids back at the hotel.
Got 4 young children. We've left them with people we've only just met on this holiday.
You have to realise, like the doctor has told you, it's unstable. It could come out again. Huh? The doctor actually wants you to admit it for a night at least at the hospital.
See, but our bus is at 7:30.
Don't worry about your flight, and the insurance will take care.
We've got no money. No.
They pay for that. They pay.
We've got no money at all on us. We've only got 90 euros.
Take it easy, please. Huh? It will be all right.
I know, don't worry. Hey?
I'm gonna have to bring me mum.
I know.
Neil is moved to a recovery room. Now the painkillers have kicked in, Neil takes a moment to describe what happened in the X-ray bay that led him to be left screaming in such agony.
2 of them just grabbed a hold of my leg. One pushed on my kneecap, the other one just pulled at my leg and we just worked the kneecap back round.
Absolutely horrible to watch.
It's absolutely horrible to feel.
Dr. Jesus returns on his rounds and explains the way forward for the couple.
The pain right now is over. I lay there, the pain is come back.
Taking on board what the doctor says, Neil puts his foot down and tells Leanne she must take the kids home.
His use go on the plane and then the insurance gets me out on the next one.
Is that what you're gonna have to? Yeah.
Get used back, all right? Get used back.
Yeah.
As Neil and Leanne try to put his injury to one side to avert a family crisis, another battered Brit is fighting to save his own mobility, fearful he could still end up paralysed. 45-year-old Richard Shellard from Somerset injured his spine after crushing his vertebrae when his head struck the bottom of a swimming pool. Whilst Richard escaped brain damage, his spine is severely bruised and in danger of dislocation. In this fragile state, it would be fatal. He describes the moment his dive of death saw the family's holiday hit rock bottom.
We weren't larking about, but we were having a bit of a laugh, you know, and it says no diving, but you dive in and everything like that. And my daughter was doing this little thing where she just does this little head dive, where she doesn't put her hands out in front of her, and she just like sort of basically, she sort of falls into the water. And I thought, well, go on, I'll give it a go. So that's what I did. And what stopped me was the floor with my head, which was probably, in hindsight, not a very good thing to do.
As Richard reflects on how his stunt has left him potentially facing a life in a wheelchair. Hello. Over at the Juaneda Hospital in Mallorca, they've just admitted the youngest patient of the day. 4-year-old Laura Kells is sporting a sore foot.
I slipped next to the shower.
By the pool?
By the pool.
Speak nicely, yeah. What were the boys doing?
Spraying me.
Spraying you.
I tried to say, stop doing it, and they just sprayed it.
And you tried to get away?
Yeah.
And that's when you slipped?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's added cause for concern. The tot suffers with a condition known as dropped foot syndrome.
Because she's so flopsy, she hasn't got the stability there, so a wet floor to her is just like walking on ice.
This condition makes her feet floppy and unstable. Slip-ups and falls are an everyday peril.
A condition just makes her hypermobile. It doesn't cause her any problems or distress. It's just because of that she's probably slipped.
Having floppy feet makes you go through a lot of shoes. This side effect has turned Laura into a pint-sized Imelda Marcos.
She's 4.5, but she really needs a big wardrobe for shoes.
Shoes, wardrobe, shoes, wardrobe.
Just lots of shoes. Shoes and bags, but mostly shoes. You like sparkly shoes, shoes with heels. You want some flamenco shoes, don't you? But Mummy won't let you. The heel's too big.
As little Laura waits for her trip to X-ray, back over in Ibiza, Richard, with the fractured vertebrae, gets a visitor.
Well, he's just come in and told me that I had to get up and go for a walk.
Wife Hazel finds Richard in need of a helping hand. As well as being in pain, he feels sick and dizzy.
Hey.
Despite being up on his feet, Richard is still far from fighting fit.
Now I'm up. We should probably make an attempt to stay up because it's...
Well, no, you need to lie down.
I will do, but I'm going to stay.
Because you're sitting up, you're putting pressure on, you need to lie.
OK.
Right, you want to go back?
Yeah.
With Richard returned to his sickbed, Hazel explains that there's another family crisis unfolding back at the hotel, which is also in urgent need of her attention.
My brother is the biggest concern at the moment. He has learning difficulties, so there's no way that he can travel on his own. He wouldn't know what to do when he got to the airport, he wouldn't know what to do when he got to the other end. So he's probably a big priority at the moment to make sure that he's okay and that we all sort of stay together in one way or another, whether it be I take them home and come back or whether, you know, we all wait and go together, so...
As Richard and Hazel have to face up to the prospect of their family being pulled apart, back at the Juaneda clinic in Mallorca, little Laura Kells and her mum are sticking close. Following a fall in which the tot injured her foot, she has an appointment with Dr. Castillo.
What happened? Hello. She's slipped by the pool. She was in a lot of pain.
Vamos a hacer una radiografía, ¿sí?
Okay, we'll do 2 x-rays, one of each foot.
Okay.
To compare.
The news of going for an X-ray is greeted with excitement by Laura.
Right, left, left. No, that one's the left and that one's the right.
You mustn't confuse the doctors.
This visit to the hospital is proving to be an unexpected adventure. Moved to the X-ray bay under the watchful eye of Mum, the radiologist X-rays Laura's feet. But 4 hours waiting in the hospital are beginning to take their toll on the tired tot.
I want to go home.
I know, but we're really close to finding out if it's just bruised or whether it's worse.
In Ibiza, following a phone call back to the hotel, Hazel makes the tough decision that she needs to leave Richard's bedside and care for her brother.
I'm going home tomorrow. Get Richard's bits and pieces out and just wait for the phone call tomorrow to see what's happening. That's all I can do, and depending on how long he's going to be here will depend on when and if I come back. But he's a big boy, I'm sure he'll be all right.
But leaving her sick husband is a tough call to make.
So much trauma in such a short space of time, it's unbelievable. And it's not life-threatening what he's going through, but it's, you know, being away from home in your comfort zone, it just makes it even more traumatic.
But she knows Richard is now stable and has a fighting spirit that will see him through.
And he's so laid back, he's horizontal, so I know he'll be fine. In himself, he'll be fine. Buck up now, brush off, get back up again, and away we go, home.
Hazel cabs it back to the hotel to help her brother. And despite his own woes, Richard offers her his full support, knowing it's the right decision for the family. Coming up, Laura's mum is left in shock when she finds out the severity of her daughter's condition.
Big toe, my middle-sized toe. Only these couple toes.
A disaster-struck duo spend another day in A&E.
I was in here earlier with laryngitis and torn vocal cords, so screaming and shouting.
And the surgeons fight to save Paul's life.
The catheter is into your heart. Maybe you feel chest pain,